This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that today you will consider this your vitamin and supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief written review? It would be very, very helpful. Today I want to talk about a prepared leader. All of us got into leadership because we felt some sense of calling, that this was what we were supposed to do with our lives. And again, remember, wherever you are in life, you're leading something. You especially should be leading yourself. Leaders are bombarded with all sorts of things throughout any given day and week. And the leaders, how do you get yourself prepared? You have responsibilities. Also, you have to respond to things that are unforeseen today, but may just as from your perspective, just appear instantaneously. How do you handle those? I'm talking about leaders that are both in organizations and even those who are leading volunteers. How do we get ourselves prepared to do the work that we have? I have about 7 or 8 suggestions I would like to make that I believe goes into making sure that you are prepared, you and I are prepared to do the very best that we can do. Let me give you the first one. The first one is slow down. Now, I'm guessing I caught you a little bit off guard because it seems like when you listen to this podcast and lots of others, that we're always saying to you, hurry up, do more, get that done, get this skill, get that taken care of. And part of your preparation is to build in time in your schedule to slow down, to be reminded of what your priorities are, why you are there, what it is that you are supposed to be doing. I just heard a speaker say a couple of weeks ago that we suffer a lot in our culture from hurry sickness, that we're all busy, but you don't necessarily have to be in a hurry. A lot of that would go if you're doing planning and preparation, what we're talking about, prepared leader. And some of the best preparation doesn't come running at full speed continually, but taking time, slowing down, and doing the things that are important. There's always going to be creative tension in your life between the important and the urgent. When I was younger, I thought the urgencies of life, those things that appeared to me as being exceedingly urgent, is what I should be spending my time on. Oftentimes, my urgencies are because other people are experiencing emergencies that have come because of their own lack of preparation and taking care of things. Let me tell you, one of the things that is a joy as you get a little more age maturity on you is rarely is the urgent always the most important. As a matter of fact, I'm going to imagine that today in your life there are some exceedingly important matters that you need to start taking care of, and they hardly feel very urgent. Now, I understand I have to do this as well as you do. You can't ignore the urgent. You do have to handle it and deal with it. But your position is you have to slow down so that you can discern between the important and the urgent and take care of both of them. So I would say to you today, leaders, have you taken your vacation? Do you have a day of rest, a Sabbath day? Do you slow down if you're a person of faith and pray and do those kinds of things that will help you? Slow down. We need you. We need you not just for a sprint. We need you for the marathon. We need you for the entirety. Practice slowing down. That is something that prepared leaders do. They know that they can't rev the engines continually. They do have to slow down and take stock of where they are. Now, the second thing that I want to say about a prepared leader is they follow up. Oftentimes, I can just remember a person I met with who I asked if he would send me something. He looked at me and said, "Yes, I'll send that to you." He never wrote it down. He never put it on his phone. And to this moment, I have never received it. He made the promise. I'm believing he's a man of honesty and integrity, and I just know that he had every intention of doing what he said. But 2 weeks later, there's been absolutely zero follow-up. And when I'm done recording this podcast, I'm going to contact him and send him a reminder. Prepared leaders never leave home without some device with which to record commitments they make through the day. Write it down, or if you're using your phone or electronic device, it really doesn't matter. It's just put it somewhere, and don't just write it down. There was a time early in my leadership, I'd write it down, but I never referred back to what I'd written. But now I have a time built in every day where I go back over anything that I've written, and oftentimes it's out of my mind. I have forgotten that I made a commitment, I made a promise that I would help someone with something, or I'd get them something, a piece of information. And when I have that time that I review the things that I've written down, I then take care of it. So a prepared leader is one who follows up. If you get the reputation of being someone who does not follow up on your commitments, people will just think you're sort of flying by the seat of your pants. You're not really very well prepared. I think prepared leaders also are those who, when they do their work, they dedicate time for their work. Let's just call it working in time blocks. I'm a big believer that take some time out of your day that you dedicate to doing the work that you need to do, the significant work of which you are called to do, paid to do, or obligated to do. And that put the boundaries around it, make it a priority. These are the things that I must be doing. Prepared leaders don't just slow down and follow up, they actually get work done. They work in blocks of time. Most of us are leading in positions that if we work from before the sun comes up till after the sun goes down, we will not get everything accomplished that could and maybe even needs to be done. The fact of the matter is you're going to have to prioritize, and you're going to have to dedicate time to work. And I have to continually tell myself during that time block, it's time to work. I get to work, get to work. And when you get that done, then you move on and do other things. But if you're going to be prepared, you have to work in blocks of time. That leads me to the fourth thing that I believe is important to be a prepared leader. This is one that changed my life, and that is following a morning and an evening routine. I have probably talked about that more often than anything else in all of these Dr. Ron's words of wisdom. Get up a little bit early. Get the things done that you make as important. I have told you time and again, I believe that I found this through Hal Elrod's book, The Morning Miracle. And there are some things that you do there. I work on 3 most important tasks. I get one of them done. It's exercise, it's reading. For me, it's prayer, Bible reading, other kinds of reading. For others, it's meditation, it's affirmations, those kinds of things. It's also the time that I choose to write in my journal as well. I have an evening routine likewise in which I reflect on the day. That's when I look through my little book and my little device to see if I had jotted down a note that I have sometime throughout that day, made a commitment to someone that I'd get them a phone number, find them a piece of information, get back with them, whether I could come and speak at their event, whatever it is. I find out the information and then I send it to them. My evening routine is I look at my very next day, see where I'm going to be, what I need to be about. I then take the time to find the documents. They're usually almost always now on my computer somewhere. Make sure I review them. I look over every committee meeting, every board meeting, every individual meeting, and I try to refresh my mind and go, I don't just try, I refresh my mind as to what the purpose is and what I intend to happen in that meeting if I have control over the meeting. And then again, I give time for prayer, Bible reading, and getting myself ready. I turn off all of the screens an hour before. I kind of work myself into it. I'm such a regimented person with it. I'm going to go way out there on a limb. I even lay out the clothes I'm going to wear the next day, the night before. I unfortunately even do that on vacation. It's become such, you don't have to do that, but what I'm saying is you're going to be prepared. You have to have some routines that you follow. Now, uh, maybe that's a walk on the wild side when I'm on vacation that I don't do that, but more days than not, you would find if you came to my bedroom that what I'm going to wear the next day is already laid out the night before. The next thing about prepared leaders is they are self-directed. Everything that I've shared with you so far, you don't have to do it. As a matter of fact, with as a leader, we're all accountable and amenable to some ones and some committees and boards, and that's appropriate and very important and significant. But those groups and those individuals do not normally come by all day long and hold our hand. They do not say, Ron, what about that project you are going to have to get done by next month? Are you working on that? Someone may check in with me periodically, but mostly if I'm going to get done the things I'm going to get done, I have to direct myself. They're self-directed. Long before I'd ever heard the word entrepreneur, that's really how most leaders, even corporate leaders, even leaders in organizations, even pastors, even those working in volunteer organizations, you have to direct yourself. You have to get yourself up. You have to set, this is the hours that I'm going to work. Here are my priorities. Here are my goals. Here are my values. Here's what I'm going to do. And if you're not self-directed, you will never be prepared. You will never come across prepared. And there's always a reason that you don't come across prepared. You know what that is? It's because you're not prepared. And so you're going to have to sit down, have a good talk with yourself. You're going to have to be self-directed. The next thing that I want to say about a prepared leader is they are a learner. You must never, when it comes to knowing things, feel that you have arrived. You must be a learner, a student, someone who has made a concerted effort to be a growing person. And you grow by learning. And there's lots of ways to learn. I feel like I've received another degree or two by just listening to Audible and to podcasts and seminars in my car. Rarely do I listen to music, hardly at all. Rarely do I listen to talk radio, hardly at all. I am trying to be a constant learner, and the responsibility that I have in my life right now involves giant amounts of time spent driving to appointments and places. Don't waste that time with nonsense. Be a learner, be a student, be a growing leader. That's what a prepared leader does. A prepared leader also is one who connects with people. Some of us are task-oriented, some of us are more relational. It doesn't matter which one is your default position. All of us have to work at times in areas that aren't our natural strength. Prepared leaders, we all need people. We're going to have to work through people. We're going to have to influence people. Find time to connect with people. If you're one of those like me who drives a lot, and if you're a little ahead of your appointments, find somebody along the way that you can connect with over a cup of coffee. Just check in with them. I'm in a period of time right now in my leadership life where I'm meeting with my leaders, 71 of them, for 1 hour each. And the point is, I want to connect with them. I have some things I want to communicate, but I want to hear from them. And I don't want to wait till there's a problem or a crisis. I want to begin connecting with them today. The final thing that I'm going to say about a prepared leader is one area where many people shy away from, and that is having tough conversations. If you're going to be the leader of anything or at any place, you are going to be involved in some tough conversations. And by nature, most of us are resistant to that. We don't want to do that. We kind of push away from that. And if you struggle with this, I would recommend Carrie Patterson's book, Crucial Conversations. Years ago, I read it in a place where I was having to have lots of crucial and tough conversations. And and it just is helpful. Come up with a plan. If this is an area where you struggle, there are lots of helps out there via books, blogs, podcasts, webinars that will help you. Don't just say, I'm not very good at this. Find a way in which to improve. Prepared leaders are going to be those who are prepared to have crucial and tough conversations. So, prepared leaders, slow down, take a deep breath, figure out your values, your goals, what it is that's really important. Don't become a slave of the urgent. Always be a person who follows up on your commitments. Learn to work in time blocks. Have a good morning and evening routine that will help propel you forward. You're going to have to be self-directed. You are the president of your own life. Please be a learner, a student, be a continual person committed to growing as a person and a leader. Find ways to continue to connect with your people and be prepared to have tough conversations. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts, would you please subscribe and leave a brief rating and review for Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. And remember, my leadership friends, you are doing better than you think you are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.